Hello there, all you fine, fantabulous humans. Daniel GreenWolf here, and I am one of the stars, and I'm the creator and the head magician of Celtic Magic, which is what you're here to look at. And there's a couple of you folks out there in the crowd right now, and I'm very glad you could come and join us for this APAP showcase. It's a little bit strange, I understand. We're all in kind of this place together, but I figured if I get a chance just to share a little bit of our live virtual show with you, as well as our live show, I think that overall it would be a better experience for everybody. And I want to give you a little taste of that because it's in the world that we're in right now. You know, we have these two sides. The sides of us as presenters and performers and artists and agents that are waiting for the world to come back to live performance. But I'm well aware of the fact that that's going to be a while before that happens again. And that's why we wanted to come prepared. And so we've been preparing for the last year now to create a virtual experience for folks that is just as enriching as a live show. At least that's our goal. And so I want to give you a flavor of that along with a flavor of our live show. And normally, you know, you could, if we're going to do a show where we were using Zoom or one of the other platforms, we'd bring other people up. But even in this form, in YouTube Live, we can still interact and connect with people in little ways. So if you're watching in the chat right now, fantastic. Please let me know where you're from and who's out there, just so I know, because we're going to be making use of one of you during the course of our little show here. But before we even get to that point, I wanted to share with you a little bit about myself. As you can clearly see by what you're looking at in front of you, I am Puerto Rican. I'm kidding. I'm Irish. I'm very, very Irish, all right? And being Irish, my family told me a lot of the stories and tales of my ancestors, the ancient Irish, the Celts. And that's what Celtic Magic starts with. We talk about some of the stories and tales and mythology of the ancient Celts, all the way up to the Irish of modern day, talking about stories of my own family throughout the course of our show. And one of the stories I love to tell, especially in this format, has to do with what's inside this box. Inside this box is a story that dates back over 2,000 years. It's very simple. All it is this. This is the Wicker Man, a small doll of straw and string and nothing more. This little doll allowed the Celts to believe in magic. It seems so silly to us now, but back then, all the people would gather round from the village once a year around the time of the harvest, and they would surround the druid, who was kind of like the wise man or the wise person of the tribe. And that druid would have this, the Wicker Man. And he would hold the Wicker Man up high in the air, and then slowly, very carefully, place it down onto his open palm. And just as now, just as all those centuries ago, nothing happened. Look, you're watching this for free. What do you expect? Nothing happened at first, right? But if people truly believe in what they were seeing, if they truly wanted to believe in the magic, at one point the Wicker Man began to tremble. He began to shake, and then he began to rise. Now we're so skeptical nowadays. You see, back then they weren't looking for a wire or a magnet or a string, because there wasn't any. I saw you looking out there. But whether you believe or not, whether you believed or not, you got to admit it makes for a pretty good story. And that is just one of the small stories that we tell when we are connecting with folks during our show, whether it's, again, in a virtual setting like this or whether it's on a stage. We've had the pleasure of working some amazing stages across the country and festivals and fairs and colleges and businesses, and really we've been so grateful that I've been able to make this my life. And it's, I mean, I don't know if I believe in fate. You know, I don't know what's fated to happen and what isn't fated to happen. But the Irish have always believed in the idea of fate, in the idea that somebody is connected to some greater thing. And I love talking about that in the show. You see, Celtic Magic is a show that's partly about hope. and about the human spirit. The Irish story of the Irish coming over to America or of the ancient Celts is a human story. And it doesn't matter if you're Irish or not. This isn't a show that you just have to watch on, St. Patrick's Day. This is a show you can watch all year round because the message is about connecting. And we like to say that our show is good for kids, but it's not a kid's show. It's one you can bring your family to. But I do believe strongly in this idea of fate. And in fact, so much so, I actually have a piece of it right here. And we're going to need somebody who is in the chat. So if somebody could speak out in the chat right now, and we're going to talk about the idea of fate. But we're going to need someone to say, just if they want to help out, just say, yes, I'll help, inside the chat right now. And we will go from there. You see, while someone is doing that, I've got here what is known as a rune stick. Now, the runes were very important to the ancient Irish. See, the Norse and the Celts and the Gauls, a lot of these cultures had runes of different types. In fact, the Celts had a whole writing language known as Ogham that we talk about in our show. But the rune sticks are fascinating because the rune sticks were a way of divination. So they can tell and connect to someone's fate. And it's great. We have somebody in the chat that said that they want to help, and that would be Meadow Perry. And I see you there. There she is. Hello there, Meadow. Thank you so much for joining us and that you're going to help us out. All I need you to do is, thank you so much, Vanessa. We'll take and use Meadow for this one. But Meadow, all I want you to do is choose a number between 1 and 6. Because that is how we're going to determine your fate. We're not going to take a whole bunch of these out and read them. We only need this one with these symbols on it. But choose a number between 1 and 6. And that is the number that we're going to use for our little test of fate. And again, if we're doing our full virtual show, we could have Meadow come on and chat with us for a little bit and connect with her and talk about stuff. And I really love doing that. But in this kind of a short setting, we just kind of go with this. So go ahead, Meadow, pick a number between 1 and 6. Whatever number you say is the number we'll use. And what's nice with our technology that we have is that we can even show folks, maybe there aren't folks watching the chat, maybe they're watching from somewhere else, but we can show Meadow has chosen 3. And I appreciate that very much. So I'm going to show you right now. Like I said, we have the rune sticks, and what's interesting is that the runes are the same on either side, whether you're looking at this side, all right, or we turn over, looking at this side. Same runes on the same in the same places. And in fact, we'll count to 3. She said 3, so watch very carefully. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Third from the top. Now that is Fehu. Fehu is the rune of prosperity and abundance. So you'll have a good year. Good job, Meadow. Congrats. Okay, I know it seems a little bit silly because maybe you think that all of these are the runes of prosperity and abundance, like this is some kind of a con game. And normally I'd agree with you. I mean, that'd be a pretty good con, but I'm going to show you that fate is magical in itself because of something like this. See, Fehu means abundance, and every symbol is now Fehu. That's not just written in there, that's actually burned into this piece of wood. And it's the same on one side, and it's the same on the other side. So you did fantastic, fantastic. But there are some people who think that Fehu is that they think maybe I named it this way and that you could just name any of them Fehu. A lot of people know about Further Dark Runes. But I'll tell you that I made sure that if we're going to use Fehu, that I would make it as clear to you as possible. And the reason why I know that is because I decided to spell it out for you. And that is Fehu. And your fate is yours. So thank you so much, Meadow. All those out there watching, give Meadow a big round of applause wherever you are. Thank you so much. Oh, see? And this is what we do. This is just some of the things that we have available to us with our technology, being able to interact with the crowd. We like to get the whole crowd involved when we're doing a show like this. And whether we're doing our stage show or whether we're doing our virtual show, we try our best to be big and theatrical and silly and strange. And I really hope you folks enjoy it. And I wanted to give you just a taste of our live stage show by, in fact, giving you a piece of what we did when we were at Arts Midwest back in 2019, before the apocalypse hit. So I want to take a moment just to show you that now. I hope you'll enjoy it. And this is us performing what we like to call Guardian Angel. Check it out.
And my family actually came over to America from Ireland during the Courts War, or the potato famine. And that's where this trunk comes into play. You see, this trunk, which has actually been in our booth 344 the entire time, and will be there tomorrow as well, hint, 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 is actually a replication of the trunks that the Irish immigrants would put everything they owned into when they came over to America. Like my great-great-great-grandfather Clancy, when he came over to America, he had a trunk just like this. Now, I don't expect you to believe me. I didn't believe it myself. But my great-great-grandpa Clancy, he said that, well, this trunk has a terrible story behind it. A lot of the trunks did. You see, the journey over into America from Ireland was a treacherous one. It could take up to 3 months, and so many died from starvation, hypothermia, disease. They weren't exactly in a Carnival cruise line when they came over this country. They were shoulder to shoulder. Thousands of people would go into boats that were meant for hundreds. And some of them were actually victims of these trunks. You see, these trunks would be stacked 6 and 7 high inside the brigands, and when the waves would crash against the rocks, it would hit the trunks, and the trunks would fall to the ground and crush some of the immigrants. But the saddest stories are like the ones that involve my great-great-great-grandpa Clancy. You see, he would sleep inside his trunk, because that was what they do. They'd actually sleep inside their own trunks because there was nowhere to lie down on these ships. They just wanted a place to sleep. And, as did happen sometimes, people would get locked inside their own trunks, suffocate, and die, and their body be thrown out to sea. Well, my great-great-great-grandpa Clancy thought that he was going to suffer this fate because he got locked inside his own trunk. But he said to the day he died that something, the last moment, reached inside the trunk and pulled him out into the light. Through the wood of the box, through the lock. Now, the lock was still locked, the wood was still solid, and there was no one in sight. He believed to the day he died that it was a guardian angel. Now, I don't know if that's true, but I love the idea of it. And I wanted to show you what I thought that looked like. So for what you're about to see, Bella will be playing the role of the unseen spirit. I'll be playing the role of the Irish immigrant. There's a shocker. And we call this guardian angel. Don't blink. It's gonna go fast. Step 1. Take the ginger and put him into a box. I saw you looking, man. Watch it now, all right? Step 2, take the ginger and put him into a bag. In a box. See you later.
He never stops talking.
Quiet, no. Step 3, make the ginger feel like a sack of potatoes. It is so damp in here, too.
Quiet.
All right, fine. Let's go. All right. I hear you. Y'all still out there? Make some noise, let me hear you. Oh, good.
Happens every single time. I got muted on the way out. That's what happens. So thank you all so much for joining us. Like I said, if you enjoyed what you saw here just a little bit, we are a modular show, which means we can do a 30-minute show, we can do a 90-minute show with an intermission, without an intermission. If you're doing a virtual show, we can have 50 people, we can have 500. We have a lot of ability to work with stuff. And so I'm so grateful that you folks decided to stick around and watch. Thank you so much. We're going to sit here for just a minute, and if you have any questions, you can put them into the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And by the way, thank you so much, Meadow Perry, for saying that we were muted, and that's why we're trying to be quick on the trigger whenever we can. But I'm going to do one more thing, though. We are going to give you just a little taste. If you haven't gotten to see our virtual promo yet, give you a chance to look at that while we get any questions in the chat to answer. So thank you so much. We're going to show you the virtual promo now, and then we'll come back to me for the end. All right, thank you all so much, and thank you for coming to Celtic Magic. There we go.
Captivating magic, Irish wit, powerful theatre. This is Celtic Magic. For over 20 years, magician Daniel GreenWolf has brought his unique, high-energy style of magic to theatres, fairs, festivals and companies all over the United States. Daniel GreenWolf has been a premier performer at the Wonderground in Las Vegas, Comics at Mohegan Sun Casino, Six Flags New England Amusement Park and the Eastern State Exposition, one of the largest fairs in the nation. Celtic Magic combines the beauty of Irish history and culture with...
They believed that magic existed in all things. Every story had magic in it. Every word pulsated with an energy that we couldn't tangibly hold but knew existed.
But nevertheless, I would accommodate in a very magical way. So the glass would be over here and the bottle would be over there. Now, even though this front table's pretty impressed, the rest of you haven't drank nearly as much. Man, we're gonna ask this question later.
Now time for you to experience the theatre. Experience the laughter. Experience the astonishment. Experience Celtic Magic.
And there you go. And there we're back, and I am unmuted this time. I made sure of it. So before we go, thank you so much for sticking around and watching our showcase. For those who caught us at the end, you can watch the replay, or you can watch me do one more live showcase tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be at APAP in the booth. We'll be rocking around if you want to say howdy. It's a very weird circumstance we're all in, but I hope you all stay safe out there. Meadow asks, what platforms can the virtual show be on? Which, if you have no idea what that means, that's okay. Basically, we can perform the show on Zoom or WebEx or GoToMeeting. Also on any of the other platforms. You know, we could do a YouTube Live like this. If you want to just do a YouTube Live with an unlisted link to have more presentational show like this, we can do a Facebook Live if that's what you want. We have a lot of different options for how we can get our show in front of your patrons. So that's our idea. We created this show, and I created this virtual show because I have a background in theater and a little bit of tech background, and I knew that we could create something to connect with an audience even if we are disconnected. And that's really was kind of the big thing for me to want to do this. So I thank all of you so much for watching. You've all been quite fantabulous. My name is Daniel GreenWolf, and please stay safe out there, and hopefully we'll see all of you next year in person at APAP NYC 2022. Thank you all so much. Bye-bye.